know it's been a full 3 months, but I have an excuse, everything. End of clip. Because it would take 3 months, I decided to do 4 segments back to back without any rest back to back. Today there is one clip after another, and every clip has 2 clips, which does not have a complete twist and rotation. Today we are talking about this stranger for those who do not know Diddy, the accursed devil himself, okay? Many people think that he is the only female Epsi on earth, but they don't care about Diddy if his teacher is insane. That come without followed us, what she did there is a way his son, but did he come? A thief, a drinker, and a facilitator, and on top of all that, Everton also encourages Cristiano's sins. Okay, any crime in your mind other than that, twice, 3 times, even in the event of what he was spared. And on top of all that, no one caught him. And for over 20 years, because they satisfy and continue, but his scandals began to become public a few days ago. The FBI raided all his palaces, and a few days ago a clip appeared for him confirming everything that was being reported about him. First, let's discuss the psychopath Diddy. Diddy is an American rapper, but before he became a rapper, he was born in New York. His mother was a model, and his father was working in the army, but at the same time he was working with the famous drug dealer Frank Lux Tamam, and with a family like that. The certain thing is that he did not become a student of memorization, Tamam, but it became unexpected. And seriously, he became a student of memorization. America was working with a priest and then entered university. Whoever hears his story here says, how is this? He became a criminal? A poor young American who works in a church, settles the movements of Giza, then goes to university? That's obvious. Poor guy's not right. Okay, D. This was a priest from Al-Kis with a job other than Dr. Al-Sisi. Remember the story when Sheikh Wis Abu Al-Afriki left because he was starting to become a model, and after he left and they withdrew his passport and he told his father that it was over, he became a good Muslim and was returning to America to invite people to Islam. The first thing that came back was the biggest song and concert in history. He used to do exactly the same thing. He used to go to church and go to university, but so that his family would not cut him off. The lot is a very big hypocrite. In the second year of university, he withdrew from studies and started working in a music company. And from here, he began to corrupt the earth. He began to hold crazy concerts attended by more than 1,000 people. And at that time, he met a child named Asher Tamam. Asher that grows up and becomes one of the greatest artists in history. But Asher at that time, he was 13 years old and Diddy was 23 years old. And with this large age difference, Diddy used to let Asher talk to him. Here is Altuz, what is he doing? Men? A 23-year-old with a 13-year-old, eh? Their common need, is it a game? It is a new fantasy action game that takes place the goals of a city I want after the destruction of the world due to supernatural disasters. It contains the pain of various characters drawn in the style of anime with complete new forky flow accuracy, including Billy Nicole Ellen. The story of the game, in short, it has become a supernatural phenomenon called the Hollows. The Hollows is something close to a black hole inside it. Time and time changes, and they emerge from the black hole, these monsters. At the same time, these holes contain a strange power. The residents of the city I want can use it to develop from it, but the thing that creates internal conflict between the residents, companies, and criminals. Your job in this game is to explore the Hollows, confront monsters, solve puzzles, and live in the city I want and all this. And you are inside. In an awesome combat experience of speed, melodies, and awesome graphics, characters that evolve with time, the game talks the current world and a new one descends. It spreads like crazy. You can explore the city, visit the upgrade stores for the next mission, and get to know the local residents. You receive beginner benefits. If you download the game and complete the first part like 100, they will draw 80 bobbins as a second bonus. If you use the code, you will also receive in-game rewards, a download link. They received it in the description below. The important thing is that Diddy, at that time, began to become deranged to the point of being expelled from the company where he was working. And the first to be expelled founded a company called Bad Boy Re Records, the company that will become the second most famous rap company in the future. Of course, this company was founded in New York, and as long as it was founded in New York, surely he wanted a rapper from New York to sign these companies. Rap companies, like clubs, sign talents to grow up. The very important thing is that a rapper discovered his name. Okay, Peggy is a 17-year-old rapper and has widespread clips of him singing rapper in the street. The only thing that counts as delicious is that he knows how to discover talent. He saw that Peggy has a talent which is not natural. They signed along in 1993 after they signed 1 year, but it's starting to become bigger. Until Diddy began to sing, Bad Boy Records expanded entirely on the second side of America's West Coast in Los Angeles. She was the founder of a company called Death Row, which would become the most famous rap company in the future. This company was founded by someone named a criminal in the sense of the word. It is clear from his face what he needs to say. No. If you knew the things he was doing, you would be shocked. The important thing is that our market was about talent that took his company far, and there is no talent in Los Angeles is bigger than Tupac at that time, who was expelled from elementary school because of him. But Tupac at that time was imprisoned, and his allowance was $1,400,000. Tupac was employed in prison and paid his bail. The first time I came out of prison and signed for Detroit, and here began the competition between the two companies, these are the ones who brought them to their bloody end. All of them had been around for a month and reached international level, even though he was Chopper. He was the most famous of those who brought a lot at that time, and the fourth award ceremony was 1995, before there was any major problem between the two companies. When the Death Row Company won an award and Suge Knight appeared in the theater and began for no reason to make mistakes about the video and his company and hinted to Peggy that he was coming to sign with him, and then Duke's Behavior appeared, who was also a cover-up site, and he also began to insult the second company and make mistakes with the public, and from here, the real problem began between them. And the newspapers also did not fail and began to make the issue bigger. What it is, but behind the scenes, Tobacco and Peggy had respect for each other, okay? Tuba was a role model in rap, and they had many clips sitting together, but because their company was conflicted, and the newspapers made them angry with each other, and people saw competition between them, the pressure began to increase on them. They became enemies like the students in school, when a slight problem arose between them, and the rest of the students came in. They said, "I swear to God, I don't want to walk around it," and they made them angry with each other until they got over it. He was in the studio and you were inside the same studio, but first, Amara, and before he came out, he was in the studio and you were inside. He said, yes, he was the one who sent people to kill your dress. But the truth is that even when he came, he was shocked and went down to help you. Someone came and said, okay, what did all this have to do with it? Start fine. What did we get into? We want clips of bullying. I understand how everything comes in turn. Stories of bullying, everything. I told you 4 clips and 4. Pray for the prophet. Let us continue the shock. He survived that shooting, and the first time he left the hospital in a wheelchair. Big U didn't. They are the ones in trouble. Now the Big came out all the time and said, it's impossible, I still see you like a brother and these things. But all the time Diddy was silent. I know what the matter is, a little confusing. He is the harasser who went into it. Okay, remember that Diddy is the president of the Bad Boy Company that he signed with Peggy. If he dies, he disappears. Their only competition. Then, a historic attack on Baiji Wadi and their company. It's said to be the strongest attack, leaving nothing fixable afterward. After that, Toba was in Vegas to watch Mike Tyson's boxing. After he got out of it, he beat a man named Orlando Anderson because he stole a chain from them. Before that, they beat him and he left the hotel. After this speculation for a few minutes, a car stopped and Toba's car, and they shot him 13 shots. They wrote to the Isthmus Tamam, then the mystery continued for many years. All people wanted to know who killed him. Buck became a global issue, all people were talking about it. Even Obama wanted to know who killed them, although it's the FP. I knew the killer from the beginning. The killer was one named Keith D, and the accident is how my hand is if he confessed to the FBI that he killed Chopek from 2009. They told me, if you taught us who you killed, and Buck, we won't do anything to you, and the donkey was honest, and he started speaking, and he said that the DD paid $1,000 for you to cry and be killed. The problem is that after he said this, I did not fully grasp it. Thousands of PIs came out at their words and did not catch them, and that's it. He started appearing in an interview on YouTube saying, I was killed, and Buck and my friends killed him, and these details began to flow and no one believed him. All of them are interviews on YouTube, literally no one believed them. People were all laughing at him. I remember watching him and saying, he killed him because what? Make him confess? There is no such thing as a donkey, but it turns out that there are people who are grandparents of donkeys to this degree, okay? Because a few months ago, 1,000 people were arrested on charges of murder, and someone came to you and said, okay, the FBI did not say that they would not arrest them. The agreement with you means that if he confesses to the room in which they are present, they will not arrest him for a confession. And that, but if he confesses outside this room, they arrest him, and the donkey forgot about this and started appearing in interviews saying everything. And in the clip of the confession recording, he says that this is it, D. Before that clip, people were suspects, and it did, he get to back, Ome get to back. But get the artist Biggie after 1 year, but since Tupac was killed, even though this thing is not 100% certain, they will come out a few weeks ago and said that if Diddy sees it, she will give you a palm to blind his family, okay? On the night that we were killed, Baji and Didi got in two separate cars, and D was the one who asked for this thing. Then he called bodyguard Baji and they said to ride with me in my car. The bodyguard refused and said that I must be with Baji because I can file charges if you ride with me in my car to pick you up from work. And a few minutes later, a car stopped and killed him. Someone came and said, why would he kill an artist while he was giving him money? Something that doesn't enter the mind, okay? Because there are still many plans left for him to leave the company and go to another company and dismantle the CD. He had all the rights to BG. After he died, he published all the new albums and took all his money. And we all know that any rapper who dies is famous many times over. The main reason is that he is responsible for killing the biggest rap artists at that time. Simple of the other things, there are many people filing lawsuits against them these days, and there are details that I cannot remember at all. If you think that I am talking about them, my channel deletes the details of the Excess 720. I have not seen them fabricated like this. From so much that is bad, you start to see Epson as a good person. Okay, but I mentioned some of the details that I can talk about. He had homes in California, New York, the Virgin Islands, and also Florida. Who owns these places? Everything starts at home. He used to bring young girls, distribute drugs and alcohol to them, and start distributing pendulums to his owners, and then he brought a photographer to photograph everything, and then he harassed the mushroom. This is the same homeless photographer. You charge him with exaggerating, but it is neither theory nor writing. This is a small part of the cases that were filed against it. These days, simple details. But then he met 50 Cent and printed 50 Cent, who doesn't have a perfect twist and turn. He says the wrong word and gives you a palm. The important thing is tell him, what do you think? I will show you the mall and buy you. Stay joyful. Sick and nothing. What do you buy for clothes? He came and gave you, people caught him. And then he came out in my interviews and exposed him, saying that he was... Before these calamities became public. This is the kind of girl that has befallen you. It is impossible for him to leave you completely. Today he is making the video easy, and now they made a complete documentary exposing Diddy and sold Netflix. The worst person on earth. It can be abandoned by your enemy. Diddy also beat his girlfriend, and a woman named Cassie beat her, breaking her bones when she was talking about someone else. Diddy, no one believed her either. But a few weeks ago, a clip appeared of my grandfather beating her in the hotel without being afraid of the cameras. Let's see part. A clip may get deleted for revealing too much. One person asked this clip in 2016, and these crimes were happening since 1996. How? Who can catch him? The answer is simple. The money is fine. A billionaire with whom he had relations with the government, so he felt that he could settle everything. For example, this video from this hotel was in 2000, and Diddy went to the hotel and gave them $50,000 so that we could buy the video from them, and they could not publish it. And you can also see the cup of the one who was hitting her, D. After he hit her, I went back with him again. A few years later, a case was filed against him and human trafficking. But on the same day that the case was filed, the case was withdrawn without exaggeration. On the same day, why? Because he paid her money to keep her quiet. And that's all. One of the biggest Hollywood actors, one named Jimmy Fox, said that Diddy used to hold secret parties, all men, and at the parties he would film all the celebrities settling their misfortunes in order to catch them. The same one who used to do Epstein, exactly Epstein, says that he was the one who caught scandals on the biggest celebrities and presidents of the earth. He caught his masters on Clinton and half of Hollywood celebrities. That's why they killed him. I mean, Diddy was protected like people. The first thing a billionaire buys is the one in front of him. The second thing he has is a giant media company called. This company has relations with the rest of the media companies, and they can bury any story that can come out. And the third thing is that he has relations with the government. And the fourth thing is new that comes out from the street. I mean, he has relations with gangs, so he was able to fear anyone who tries to talk about him. But suddenly, 70 cases came out within 1 month. Suddenly, the men turned out that he was working with the filing of a harassment case, and his old girlfriend turned out to file these cases against her. And countless cases within a month to 2 months, and then suddenly the FBI raids in every house and at the same moment in different cities. Things like this don't happen completely out of nowhere, especially in Hollywood, especially for a big character like Diddy. If you ask me, I say that Diddy raised the pressure of one of the people who control Hollywood. The only explanation is because Diddy, no matter how much money he had, in the end there was always someone bigger like him, like he had the money of the world and the relationships of the world, but in the end, they killed him in a high security prison. The important thing is that he collects all the evidence on Diddy, and as I said before, the FBI will not catch you unless they know that they have evidence. The whole world is watching you for years and then catching you. They collected all the evidence on him. Next month, the one after that, I will arrest him and the long trial will begin, which could last for years. If Diddy grabs things on Hollywood celebrities, they don't have a problem. Celebrities don't have that power. But if Diddy grabs things on politicians, such as there is a high possibility that he will be killed in prison like Epstein, the most important thing is that scandals do not come out completely. Someone comes and says, okay, money is blind. But there are certainly people who have chivalry and are supposed to talk from the beginning about everything else. I swear to God, every person who can do it is a knight of truth. But first we will show the money. There is a second topic. Whether if I saw a person stealing and hitting someone in front of me and offering me 100,000 to keep quiet, I might have problems seeing. Suddenly, I don't see people like me. To be honest with you, 300,000. I testify with me that there is only one thing, 1,000 reals. I will put it into myself. If you want to be frank, if anyone wants to see you, talk to me. Important. Sick, took a long time to withdraw, I know, and I apologize for the need, but the biggest problem I had before was lack of focus, okay? I have 1,000 things I want to do, 1,000 projects I want to do, 1,000 clips I want to do, but of the many things that I was thinking about doing, I discovered that I didn't finish any of them completely, okay, or alone. Why? Because I'm focused on 1,000 things at once. So I said, I swear my time like people and never focus on different needs at different times. For example, at the beginning of this year, I opened a shipping company, okay, and thank God things began to go well, and when things go well, what do? You have to work hard to get the best results because especially in business, the foundation is the most important thing like the clients. If its foundation is asphalt, it will fall quickly. In order to focus fully on this need, I must devote my full time to it, and this is what I did, and at the same time I began to study something. One of the things that I wanted to study when I was young, one of my dreams, completed. It does not take long years, it takes less than a year. The first thing I finish it is a historical clip at the end of the year. God willing, it will be a surprise to history. Now, between these projects, my focus was on clips, but I'm back with a new clip coming out shortly.